Hello everyone, welcome to our Power BI Zero to Hero series. In this video, we are going to start with the visualizations. Before getting started, I have two tips for you. Number one, whatever charts and graphs we use to create in Power BI, in technical terms or in the terms of Microsoft, we used to call them visualizations. So, every chart or graph we have in Power BI, we call them as visuals or visualizations. Tip number two is every table or every data source you connect to, the table get imported here, and this table is called as query in terms of Microsoft or in terms of Power BI. So we don't have anything called as table. We term tables here as queries. So whatever tables we have, we will call them queries in terms of Microsoft or in terms of Power BI. Now let's get started with the very first chart, that is column chart today. Column charts are basically useful for showing data changes over a period of time or for displaying comparisons among items. Sometimes we have different time items, data items, and we have some different years for which we have some data. So we used to show data changes over that period of time, over those different years or those different data items. Here we have imported this orders query here. If you are new to Power BI and you don't know how to import data, how to get data, so let's go back to the previous video and see how to import data into Power BI desktop. Now, here if we see the columns or KPIs fields in this query, orders query, we have date field as well and we have category field as well. So, we will see the comparison in both the cases of a change over a period of time and the comparison among items. We will create two different visuals there. Now we have this column chart here. To In order to create this chart, we will bring this chart from visualization pane to this canvas. Only I will click on this chart and will see there is some kind of empty chart or blank chart comes over here, which is showing some bars as the column chart. Now if you see, if you observe, under the visualization pane below the visuals, we have these options changed as x-axis, y-axis, legend. We have these many options here. Now we will bring our data fields or data columns in these options to get this visualization complete. Now in the very first chart we will see the change or the comparison among different items. So for different items we have item subcategories here. I will use this subcategory in the x-axis, and then let's say sales or profit, I will use sales in my y-axis. If you see, I have these many of columns coming here. This is my stacked column chart. Very simple chart, stacked column chart. So if you see here, it is the title of this chart, and the chart is being sorted from the highest value to the lowest value. That means if you hover over this first bar, the biggest one, you see 3,33,000, and the smallest one is 3024. So this is arranged in the descending order. In order to change the settings or the arrangement or the order of these values from descending to ascending, the formatting, you can do and every kind of settings here. If you observe, we have these grid lines here that are very light in color. We can change these grid lines and these titles, every kind of formatting we will see. First of all, let's see how to change the ascending order from this descending order here. If you see, we have three different options here. First one is filter on the visual, second one is focus mode, and the third one is more options. The first option, filter on visual, we will look at it later on. The second one, focus mode, if we want only this chart in the Power BI report to be highlighted, then we will click on this focus mode, and we will see only this kind of chart here in the large view or the focus mode. After the analysis done, we will click on this back to report option and we will get this normalized. Now we have this option, third one, three dots, we call it as ellipse, and the name for it is more options. If we click on it, we will see these different options here. The last option we will focus on an initial label, sort axis. As you see, there are two tick marks there, sum of sales and sort descending. So basically, it these tick marks are showing that the chart is, or the visual is sorted on the basis of sales in the descending order. We can check on this ascending order to get it in the ascending order sorting. So if you see, it is jump to ascending order. We can revert it over by clicking on this sort descending. Now we will go to the some visualization settings or formatting here. For formatting as well, we will refer to this visualization pane and we will click on this second or middle option, format your visual. Here we will see two different kind of uh, settings or formatting options, visual category and general category. We will look into these one by one. For x-axis formatting, we will look into this x-axis, and we will change the font here, font family to font joy semi bold, and we can increase the size here or decrease the size. The minimum is 8 and we can go to the maximum. We can change the color from here, let's say this dark blue color, and we can move it to bold. Now we will go to this title option. We can change the title here from like subcategory to some other name like subcategory column chart to make the difference. You have to give the meaningful name as per your requirement. We can change the font family here and we can increase the size, and we can change the color as well, let's say this blue color. These are the x-axis settings. If we go to the y-axis settings, here we have range option, we will see them later. In values, we see we can change the font size and font family, let's say, and we can change the color from here as well. If we see displayed values which are in by default coming in million, we can change the display unit here, let's say to thousands. We can say we can change the decimal option, let's say to 1 or 2. But as we observe that this is showing dot 00 till two places, that means there is no logic of seeing decimal values here, so I am reverting back to 0. And if we turn this toggle button on, switch axis position, then you will see this axis on the left side will switch to the right side. and if we turn it off, then by default it will come to the left side. If we expand this title option, then we will see we can change the title of this y axis. We can change the font size and the font family here. We can change the color as well. As we have no legends and small multiples, we don't have these options enabled here. We have grid lines. As you see, this very thin and light line coming over here, this is our grid line. We can change the style of this to dashed or solid. We can let's change the width first to make it clear, and the color of it to this something different color, darker color. If you see, if we change the style, the default style is dotted style. If we change this to solid, then this kind of line will come as the grid line, and dashed to kind of this. You can enable or disable this line. After disabling, these lines will not be shown, and after enabling this option, you can change the grid lines. Coming to zoom slider option, by default this is disabled. If you turn it on, you will see there is a kind of slider coming here. You can change the values like this. This will show the slide in this y-axis. You can change the slides here by increasing or decreasing the size of this chart or bars. Slider labels, these kind of labels will come in the slide left slider, and slider tooltip will also be present. If you turn it on, you will see the tips tooltip here. Just like if you drag it, then you will see the value coming there. By default this option is disabled. Now we are coming to columns. Columns means these bars. We can change the color from here to different color, let's say this blue color, and we can click on this show all option. Then all the categories from the x-axis will be coming here, and you can change the color individual for the individual axis or individual bar. You can change for every bar you want, and if you turn it off, then whatever color will be selected in this default option, then all the bars will convert to this default option. Spacing option, inner spacing and outer spacing can also be handled using these spacing option. If you increase this inner padding option, then the bar will get thinner, and if you will decrease it, then this bar will get wider or broader. If we click on this reset to default option, then all the properties of this column will get set to default. Data labels means if we turn it on, you will see the values coming here. Whatever the value of this column will be, that will be present here. Okay, so we will be changing the options here. Orientation horizontal or vertical, we can set anything. Position means you can change the position like inner or outer, anyone. I am setting it to auto. It will fit accordingly. We can change the background of this data label to highlight it. We can change the color here, and we can reduce the transparency. Plot area background means you can select any image to make the background of this chart. Let's say I will select the logo of our company. You will see the logo is coming behind this. And if you want to make it it is coming in the original size. If you want to fit it in the chart, you will have to use fit image option, image fit option. Then let's change it to fit. Then it will fit to the whole image. It stretches the image, and if you will fill, then it fills the image into the whole thing. Now we will make this similar chart with the values as we will go to the general settings. Here we have properties option. Here we will can increase or decrease the size of this chart. Let's increase the size. You can observe that the size of this chart is increasing below 1. We can decrease the size as well. We can increase the width. It will increase to the right side. Also we can decrease the width as well. We can change the positioning, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal means the spacing from the left, and vertical means the spacing from the top. If we change the horizontal to 10, it will shift to right side. And if we change it to vertical, let's say 140, then it will shift a bit upper. If you observe that, if we see padding option, then it will left the padding from left, right and bottom, top. Here if we increase the padding from the top, then here boundary of this and the value we are displaying, we can increase and decrease the padding means space between the content and the boundary. If we go to the advanced option, we see responsive. Here if you are seeing or looking this report into your mobile or tablet, then the screen size will get fit into the size of your device. So to keep the consistency of this Power BI report, we used to keep this responsive option enabled. If we go to this title option, we can change the title here. Let's say I am removing the sum of. It will reflect here. We can change the heading type. We can change the this title font size and font is family. We can turn the text color as our suitability. We can change the background of this text, let's say to this orange color, and we can center it out. Effects option, we can change the background color of this, let's say to this gray color, or we can increase the transparency. We can turn the visual border on. After clicking on, then you will see a black boundary over here. We can change the color of this black boundary. We are coming back to this, and black boundary, let's say I'm changing to this red color, let's say. And if you see, by default the corners are pointed. We can change the border radius of these, let's say to rounded borders. If you see, the point is gone off and they are turned into rounded. We will select this chart again and we'll go back to the effects. If we see this shadow option, we can turn it on and we'll see a shadow coming here. We can change the color of this shadow, and outside, bottom right to center, and we can change the darker color to see the effect here. Now to see more options. Do we have more options? Yes, header icons. If we publish this report to Power BI service, then we can have this option here to change the formatting of these icons. They will be by default visible in Power BI desktop anyhow, but we can turn it off for Power BI service. When we deliver our report to our client, then we can handle these. We can change the background color of these and border color of these uh, icons. We can change the color, transparency, and if we come to icons, we can turn it and turn off and turn on whichever icon we need. Tooltip, we are showing tooltip here as the category name and the sum of sales for every bar. We can change the text of this to increase size or decrease size, and the label names, colors, we can change the background of this. Let's say we can change it to this color. We will see background tooltip color will get changed, returning back to this black. This is all the formatting we see in this chart. Let's have a different chart. We can see for the timing, for the, we say, year wise. We can see like we have order date. Ordered, every date will be coming in the form of hierarchy. Hierarchy means the greatest unit, then the lowest unit, greatest unit to the lowest unit. As the date comes in the year as the greatest unit, then quarter, then month, then day. If you bring it to this x-axis, then it will come to this format, hierarchy format. You can change it to date format as well by clicking on this arrow and this date name, and you can change it to hierarchy as well. You can remove these options, like I am showing this year only, year wise sales, let's say. So I have 4 year data, 2015, 16, 17, and 18. So here we have four bars for 4 years. If I show you the data here, I have only 4 years of data: 2015, 16, 17, and at the last 18. I have 4 years of data. That means my chart is showing correct year number of years. If I want to show it for quarterly basis, then I can bring here quarter and remove the year. So I have 4 quarters of all the 4 quarters for different years. It will consolidate. Show the we can show for different years. For example, now it is showing 4 years for quarter one, 4 years for quarter two. We can rearrange the x axis to year above and quarter below. We can expand this to different hierarchy like quarter for each year. We can have months as well here for different months. We can remove this quarter option, then we will see the monthly basis data. This way we can see the year wise and date wise changes in it. We can remove year here, then it will show all the 4 years for January, all the 4 years for February, then all the 4 years for March. Now it has been sorted as per the uh, monthing convention, like January, February, March. We can change the sorting here as well by sum of sales, or we can reset it to month in the ascending order, let's say. So this is all how you can work with the column charts. That's all in this video. Happy learning.